Hi, everyone, and welcome to Office Hours. And congratulations on making it to the last week of the online course. So that's really exciting. I know everyone's put a lot of work into this. So let's talk about how this is going to work for today. We're going to spend the first 45 minutes on YouTube and Google Hangouts. I'm going to talk about some of the concepts that you've learned this week. And then at 6:45, we are going to stop this broadcast, and then we're going to move to the telephone conference line and continue this conversation there. Okay. So I will post the link to Zoom so you can still see my screen after we switch over, but do dial into the telephone conference line so you can hear the audio for the conference call. Okay, good. Does anyone have any questions so far? If you do, go ahead and type them into the chat room for YouTube, and I'll be able to answer your questions there. If you've finished all of the assignments, congratulations. Do continue to go ahead and monitor the discussion forums and respond to your classmates. Also, if you can all take a moment to welcome Paula Reed. She is our newest student. I know she got a late start, and I don't think anyone got to read her introduction, but she is part of the class now, and you'll get a chance to meet her next week. Okay, she's married to Jason, and they're going into business together. The other thing I wanted to tell you all is if you are having trouble with any part of the assignments, please let me know. Okay, and if you're having trouble keeping up, I need to know really quickly too. All right, I will do my best to help you with whatever you need help with, but I just need to know what your situation is. All right, keep up the great work, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So these are the same slides I sent out about an hour ago. If you have any trouble opening them up, just let me know, and I will send those to you. Okay. All right. So this week we talked a lot about different things, and you've had a chance to further refine your business concepts. Remember, a sustainable business is one that solves problems for people. Some of you have multiple concepts. You haven't decided on something yet. So what I want to talk about is it's not a full legal entity, but if you file as what's called doing business as, or what is called a DBA, it allows you to basically do business as a fictitious name. And the example I'm going to use right now, let me pull it up, is Kellogg. So Kellogg is the parent corporation, and it has numerous brands. Okay, so this is really familiar to everyone. That's why I chose this example. So Cheez-Its, Special K, Keebler, Pringles, Rice Krispies. Okay, so if you have a lot of different concepts, and I know these are all products, but they are brands because they have several products within each of these lines, then what one of your options is to form your parent company, however you want to do it, as either an LLC, an S Corp, or just a corporation. And then you can have different DBAs. A DBA is basically, it's a fictitious name for your company, but it's also a persona. The advantage of having a DBA is that you can have money going from your different DBAs into the same account. Okay, this really depends on your bank. My bank only lets me do one DBA per account. So we kind of separated it into one DBA for the checking and then another DBA for the savings. But it's a big savings for you if you do decide to do this, because now you're not paying extra fees for a concept that may not be validated yet or not generating enough revenue yet. Okay, so I'm thinking specifically of somebody like John who's going to start up a camp for men and sons. It really sounds more like a retreat to me, but that would be a seasonal business in the summertime, and then he would have a different DBA for some of the other training that he's considering. Okay, and Austin, this would be the same for you as well with your merchandise apparel line, and then if you decide to partner with nonprofits and then do some cleanup, like you mentioned with the scuba diving or something else, that could be a separate DBA. All right. And you too, Robbie, with your different products. You've got a lot of them going on, and so does the Reed family. So this is one way that you can do it. Again, there's going to be an attorney on site at the conference, and then you'll be able to ask them specific questions about your business once you get there. All right. And then if you have any further questions about the DBA, okay, here is a guide here from Intuit and then from the Small Business Trends. And these are all hyperlinks, so you can just click on them and it'll bring you to those sites. Let's talk about value, because we're going to talk about the value chain, because one of the assignments asks you to think about your social networks and how you can leverage them. So this is the first step. Value is something that is defined from the customer's perspective. Okay, it can be convenience, quality, service, or price. It really depends on what they're looking for. And there are a lot of different companies who, who cater their value based on what the customer wants. So Walmart is the most common example because theirs is all based on price. Land's End is based on quality. Okay, they'll accept returns from anything and they'll guarantee it. But that is the value that your customer is willing to pay for. Okay, so some examples of added value from each industry. Let me go ahead and pull this up one more time. Okay, if you're a service-based industry, so Matt and who else? Okay, the Reeds again with their gunsmithing service, and somebody's name is escaping me. It's going to be Seth with the sandblasting. They're going to provide a high degree of professionalism or expertise. And this goes for all of our consultants like Trina and Steve and Lance. Okay, that is what gives value to their customers. And then there's other things that you can do if you're in the service industry to add value. I mean, some people want the bundling and the packages as well as the frequent buyer programs, but it really depends on who your audience is and what your service is. Now, if you are in the product-based industry, some of the things that people find value in is that it's American made or it's locally made, and make sure you name your state. I know specifically that Alaska has a Made in Alaska program, and they promote that. They promote those businesses so that they can grow, their economy in that state more than they do in most of the other businesses. Some of the other things that people find value in are family-owned businesses or a local business. And then there's a huge community out there who looks specifically for veteran-owned businesses or women veteran-owned businesses. So you just need to know who your audience is. Okay, so the other students who I'm thinking about for this one, handcrafted, one of a kind, is Robbie. Okay, with your gifts, and then again with the Smith family. I'm sorry, the Reed family, because they might go into silversmithing. All right, so you need to know what it is that, or how you add value to your customers. I would even write these down, these keywords, because it's something that you can hand to your marketing assistant as they're helping you with your, whatever your media is. It could be social media, it could be print material, but these are the things that you know better than they will that need to go on there so that it can attract your audience. Okay. Social mission outreach. The example I'm thinking here specifically is Tom's Shoes. He grew that company based on this whole social mission where you buy one pair of shoes and you give one away. He gives one away for free. We don't really have any nonprofits in this class, but if you are thinking of one, you need to build your relationships with your donors and sponsors. And then you need to let them know how they are adding value to the people that you are serving. I'm not sure if there's still going to be a class on this at EBV, but Deanna can answer that question. Let me look really quick and see if there are any questions so far. Is the on-site attorney familiar with patents? That's a great question, Chris. I'm not really sure. Sometimes they've had separate attorneys who are familiar with that come to different conferences. You will have access to the Technical Assistance Program. I'm going to write this down so you can see it. The Technical Assistance Program, or TAP, after you graduate from EBV. And you will have access to legal assistance for that. I think there's some sort of qualifications, income qualifications, but Deanna and Elvis will review that once you're actually there at the conference. So yeah, that is a great question. Chris, for you also, I'm going to write this down. The USPTO, if you look up their website, sometimes they have free resources that can help you with patents, but that's a great question. And then when you start going to those SBIR, STTR conferences, there will actually be the USPTO on site, and you can ask those questions there as well. Okay, very good. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, the value chain. In one of the assignments, it asks you about how you can leverage your different social networks. So a value chain, let me get my pen out. Let's see if this works. This in a nutshell is your entire operations. So this bottom half here consists of your primary activities. Okay, right here, primary activities. These are all the things that you need to do to add value to your customers. So inbound logistics, this was actually designed for the manufacturing industry, but there's actually a value chain for every industry. So you guys can look that up and hopefully find one for your industry. So if you are developing a product, this includes your warehousing, your inventory control, your operations, how you assemble everything, the packaging. I think for Chris with an S, there are 3 Chris's in this class. So Chris with Safe School, his operations are going to be that whole R&D of developing that technology. Okay, that's a very involved project. And then your outbound logistics, how you deliver it, and then marketing and sales. Everybody has these primary activities, but they're going to be different for your industry. So marketing and sales, how do you promote it and how do you distribute it? So somebody in the healthcare sector is going to need to promote it through doctors' offices. You're going to need those referrals, okay? And then they're going to distribute it at their personal facility. Somebody in a different industry, I'm thinking of our product-based industry. So like Aquanetta, she designs a pillow for sleep apnea. She can also distribute that through, different medical supply offices as well as doctors' offices or just even online, okay? So you see the difference? And then the final primary activity is service. This can include installation, repair, customer service. So this right here is Matt and Ty with his cryotherapy machine, okay? All of this affects your margins. So the primary activities is a set of activities that it delivers value to your customers, and it's where your competitive advantage resides. Now, the other part of this are your supporting activities. So even though they may not, and I don't want to use the word important, they may not be as important as these primary activities, they do influence them quite a bit. All right. So there's firm infrastructure, human resources, technology development, and procurement. Whatever your primary activities are, your core competencies, it's like the 2 or 3 things out of all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that you're going to be good at. You're going to use your supporting activities to develop them. Here, I'm going to just go ahead and advance the slide so you can see this example. So for Starbucks, their core competency include is training. That's their main thing. So they do this by, or I'm sorry, their core competency is customer service. It's actually their unique value proposition. So how they do this is they focus heavily on training as part of their internal activities, and it leads to a strong competitive advantage, which leads to healthy returns. Now, if we're going to show this, how it shows up in the value chain, it's right here under human resources. So they focus real heavily on that training, but it is shown, it's reflected under service through their superior customer service. I'm going to show you an example of this right now in one of your classmates' assignments. How do I get rid of this? Okay. Let me double check, make sure nobody's typing anything into the chat room. All right. So here's an example from one of your classmates. Thank you, Jose, for letting me use your assignment as an example. So in Journal 4, it asks, what problem are you trying to solve? So I know it's kind of a redundant question since you've already done this, but now it's giving you a second look now that you've done all this industry research and a little bit about the market analysis. So what he did was that he included all of the stakeholders, to include the patients for his nursing home, the families who are the actual customers because they're paying for it, as well as the government and the community needs because they are major stakeholders in his nursing home. And this is going to be set up in Puerto Rico. So under the elderly needs, these are the ways that he's going to solve the problem for them through quality care, food, medicine, a real competent staff with 24/7 delivery of their care. Now, if you're going to take all this and put it into a value chain for him, it's going to all be reflected through the training because this is a highly regulated industry. So they have to follow all the regulations for the government as well as the local ordinances. But they deliver value to their customers and end users through their outbound logistics, which is quality care. And it includes everything that's involved with that, to include medication administration, their activities for daily living, and everything else. Okay. All right. So what I want you to do as you continue the assignments and as you are at the conference is to think about how you can structure this, take all this information, and then have it be able to show it into, your value chain and everything else as part of your business plan, as well as, the slides that you're going to be preparing to pitch to your audience at the end of EBV. Okay. And we can talk about that more. I hope you guys caught that from the last office hours, where you are going to be working on your slide deck every night because they do want you to pitch your idea in front of a panel of judges and your classmates. All right, I'm going to answer this question really quick. Lance, not sure if I should go nonprofit. Sounds like more work for the same money. It is a lot more work for the same money. There are so many nonprofits in the United States. They recommend not even starting a nonprofit. You're better off just starting as a for-profit entity, and then you can partner with nonprofits. You don't even need to be, I forgot what it's called, a joint venture. And I don't know if that's the right word, but there is a way to partner with nonprofits, but you don't necessarily need to be one. Okay, that's a really good question, especially if you've not already developed your legal entity. All right. So anyway, this was a good example from Jose. So again, look for a value chain for your industry online somewhere. And I know that this material will be covered again when you get to the residency course. Let's go back to the slides really quick. All right. Okay. So we've talked a lot about market segmentation, and the main thing about that is that you need to be able to identify your niche or your niche, or basically the different types of customers who will use your product or services. Because when you know who they are, it'll be much easier to find them. So there is a video on this already in the VetNet channel, YouTube channel. And so you can take a look at that whenever it's convenient for you. But basically a niche, it's a French word. So a niche is a group of people who self-identify in different categories. All right. So they go to conferences just for this. So women veterpreneurs, military spouses, those are all niche markets. Okay. This was actually designed for the VWise class. We have, I think, 2 or 3 of you who are catering to hunters, outdoorsmen, gun owners. You just need to know who they are, but look how many different niches there are just on this one slide. Okay. I think the trick for you is to be able to identify them, especially if you are what is called B2C. And they're going to have training on this once you get to Syracuse, which is business to consumer or customer. Okay. Because then you're going to use different types of marketing platforms to reach them, which include things like social media. And then what you'll do with this. So even Lance, I'm thinking about you because you're going to be targeting college students, career seekers, okay, is that you're going to use a lot of these keywords as part of your marketing. So you need to know who these audience, who these people are and where you can find them. And if you're just starting out and you're trying to figure out who these people are, you can, if you create an Instagram account, this one is set up a lot easier than everything else. When you start going through those hashtags, it'll give you the number of people who are looking for whatever topic it is that you're typing in, all right? So anyway, this is just a short crash course on this, but this is what you would use this for. Okay, and then I just want to cover this really quick because this is our last time meeting together online. This is your BAIL team. So BAIL stands for banker, accountant, insurance agent, and lawyer. So it's a bail with an I and not with an E, because they're going to bail you out of trouble if you ever need help. Not that any of you would ever get into trouble. But the reason I mention this is because they're an important part of your team, and they need to be addressed in the management section of your business plan, okay? Even if you don't need a business plan, you need to know who these people are, and you need to list them by name, because they're going to be an important resource for you when questions come up as you move further along in your business, all right? Okay, so that's the BAIL team. And if you have any questions about any of this, please don't hesitate to let me know. Okay, good. Where do we find the value chain template? All I do is I go online and I type in my industry, and then I type in value chain. You might be able to find it on Google Scholar as well. There was a professor the last time at Syracuse, and this was what he taught. It was his specialty. You might be able to ask them as well. Okay, good question. Chris, my niche is educators. Will there be training on the most effective marketing approach for certain niches? I want to say, Chris, that your niche will be the principals. And yes, Deanna did mention that there's going to be breakout sessions for both B2C marketing and B2B marketing. Okay. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Sometime during the course, and I don't know when it's all going to be, but they're going to divide you up based on whether you are going to be marketing to consumers or to other businesses or even government and entities. But that is my feeling about your market, Chris, is that you're going to be marketing to the not just the educators, but to the actual administrators who are the decision makers on how that money is being spent in their schools or school districts, depending on who you're talking to. All right, good questions. What else can I answer for you? I'm going to share the link to Google Hangouts because I'm done with those slides, and I would love to have you all join me if someone wants to log on to Google Hangouts. Here's the link. Chris, I'm just wondering if your actual target market would be law enforcement, because I don't know who provides that for the schools, and I don't even think it's the actual school who makes that decision. I think it's probably some sort of partnership with the local law enforcement community. Who else do we have with us, and what questions can I answer for you guys? These are excellent questions, and I'm very pleased with the amount of research that I'm seeing now in your homework, okay? That's why it's taken me so long to get through those first few assignments. I've actually had to do some of the research myself so that it was clear as to what you were working on so that I could provide you the right resources. All right. What else can I answer for you, or what are some of the concerns about either the homework assignment or the assignments or your businesses about applying them? We have about 20 more minutes on YouTube Google Hangouts before we switch to the telephone conference line. Okay, so well, I can't really answer many of the questions about the residency course, but you will hit the ground running there. If you can put your assignments in some sort of cloud storage, it can be Dropbox or Google Drive. Use the free versions. It'll give you access to them. In case something happens to your laptop as you're traveling or whatever. And if you don't have a laptop, they're going to provide it for you. But every night after the classes, like after dinner, we were still there, and somebody would come in and teach us about the pitch presentation, and we spent the rest of the night working on our slides. So the feedback that I'm giving you on your assignments, you can just start copying and pasting into your slides. But I want to encourage you to use as many charts and diagrams as possible. There's okay, let me see. What date should we arrive at Syracuse? Lance, ask Deanna. I thought it was a Friday, but you should have gotten that information already, or it might be coming out this week or early next week. I'm not really sure what the agenda is. Okay, there is a specific date that you need to arrive for the residency course. Okay, Chris, will there be any training on grant applications? I honestly don't know. They've never had it in the past. Your best bet is to go and attend the SBIR, STTR workshops. They are all over the country. So just watch the dates and see when they come to your state. Okay, those grant competitions are at certain times of the year. So for the National Science Foundation, it's twice a year. I've gone to one of the workshops. It's still taking me forever to work on my grant proposal because the technology is so involved. Okay, I'm going to need to actually pair up with a couple of different computer programmers. One is really good at algorithms, another one is good at app development, but I actually have to finish all the modules, and then they can help me put it together and help me with different parts of the proposal. Okay, great questions. Who else? Who else is on the YouTube channel with us? If you have any comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you. Okay, good question, Kelly. How long will our pitch be? There are only 15 slides. Should we add more? You can spend as much time as you want on any slide. I had one pitch deck. It was probably too long. It was about 28 slides, but I only spent like 10 seconds on one of them. Okay, so you're going to get a chance to not just put your slides together, but also, just when you're in your room, you can rehearse and you can time yourself. It's usually about 15 minutes of presentation and then 5 minutes of Q&A, but they'll talk about all that once you get there. And if you have enough backup slides, then you'll have enough content to fill the time. So just put your thoughts on paper, or in this case, PowerPoint, and that way you have it when you need it. Let me go ahead and let's talk about PowerPoint. Okay, I also teach technology because nobody else wanted to do it. So let me show you some tricks for PowerPoint. So you see this ribbon up here? It's the same for Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. What you want to do, did you see me raise this up? This is where you type your notes. So type in all your notes here, because sometimes I'll put it in presenter view, and let me see if it'll bring it up here. Okay, so I'm going to put the presenter view on this monitor, and let's see if you guys can see it. So when it's in presenter view, of course, there's no notes here. Let me move this all up. But if you put your notes into little bullets, because you'll get nervous when you're up there, you'll be able to see it in the laptop in front of you, because usually there's a laptop there, and you can see the slide that you're on as well as the next slide, and then you'll have your notes to refer to. So you're not So when you're getting nervous, you'll have a reference in front of you because you're going to have a clicker. You'll have a microphone strapped to you, and so that's one of the easiest ways to see what you need to present. All right, without having a piece of paper in your hand. All right, so those are some little tricks with PowerPoint, and then like if you were going to give this as a slide deck, then you could save it as a PDF. Okay, and I've had clients do that before. All they needed was a slide deck. They had a really extensive investor network, and then they raised more than $1 million for their venture. But it was also in the cannabis industry, which is a really attractive investment. All right, good question. What else can I answer for you? And we have less than 15 minutes. Chris, this is a good question. I honestly don't know. You can ask Deanna about that. Let me type this in. Let me see if I can. There's something called the Military Child Education Coalition Conference. Since you don't have a prototype yet, it would be hard to get feedback on anything unless you had something that you could show them. But that conference has 2,000 attendees with educators, principals, anybody involved with education, school liaison officers from all over the world. And they go there to support military children. Okay, that's where you could get some initial feedback. Maybe you could be a vendor just to see if there is an interest out there. The other group I would talk to would be local law enforcement, whoever it is that provides the security at those schools. But then you could also be perceived as an indirect competitor as well, since you might be replacing some of them, although they might be really happy to have you because they don't have enough police officers or security guards to man those schools. So you just need to see. And I honestly don't know who would be available at Syracuse to help you. So you would need to reach out to Deanna or Dan for that. Good. Great questions. Keep them coming because we only have a few more minutes left. Any more questions about the homework or anything else? We're wrapping things up with the online course. So Thursday is the last day for the online course. Most of you are on track to finish your assignments. I think most of you have only 1 or 2 assignments left. Yes, the 2 requirements for the residency phase. One is to submit your business owner profile to Deanna by Friday. Okay, I will not even see that. The pitch presentation you will actually work on there. We didn't even find out about it until we actually got there. So you all are getting a head start, and it was nice of them to give you the template ahead of time. We didn't get that, and some of us were up to like midnight or 1 a.m. every night putting that together. But you will have time to work on that there. You don't have to stress about getting it done now. Plus, you'll get feedback from your classmates. There'll be a lot of people there in the evenings during that business plan lab, and they can help you and give you feedback. I mean, there'll be graduate students. Just seems like it seemed like there were so many people there that just showed up out of the blue, but they were all there to help mentor you. Okay, good. What else? What else can I answer for you? I'm all by myself on Google Hangouts. We have about 10 minutes left. Hopefully you all have enjoyed the online course so far. I know it's been a lot of work. The good thing is that you do have the foundations of a business plan. So that's a great thing. It's a communication tool that you can use to, get funding or get feedback from mentors and advisors, and eventually even get some team members out of it. All right. So keep working on that. Put your assignments together. I know it's required a lot of research on your part, but it's a good thing because you're going to use that research to inform your financial projections as well as a lot of other things. All right, good. What other questions can I answer for you before we switch to the telephone conference line? Anything? Okay, so Lance is funny. I know. The business owner profile is due by Friday, and it gets sent to Deanna. Okay, good question. And it's on Moodle. I want to say it's on day 14. I mean, if you need an extension for it, just let her know. The difference between the business owner profile and a business plan is that the business owner profile really is an evaluation of your personal needs. So, and you do have classmates who have health issues, and it affects their ability to work at certain times of the day. Okay. What they found through research is that a lot of people who choose entrepreneurship are those who have some physical limitations that affect their ability to work in a 9 to 5 job in, a normal brick and mortar structure. So this gives all of you actually a lot more flexibility. Is anyone else having trouble spelling entrepreneurship? And Lance has his PhD, so I'm not the only one who has trouble with that. All right, good. 7 more minutes. What else can I answer for you? Because this will be the last time that we get to see each other online. Okay, the rest of the course, it'll be through Moodle or through email, or you can call me or text me. Okay, whatever's easiest. Does anyone else need any specific information about anything? Grants, raising capital, other entrepreneurship programs once this one ends? While you're at the residency course, they're going to go over a lot of information, but the next phase of EBV is the technical assistance program. So you'll have access to a lot of resources. I was able to get my logo done for free. I know other people who have gotten the discounted services for a website. I've gotten 2 federal trademarks, basically with the attorney fee waived. Okay, so that saved me $1,600, but I did pay for the filing fee, so that was great. Okay, that's part of the legal services. What else is there? There's a lot of different services that you can look into, and they'll give you all that information once you're there at the course, and they'll give you the login as well. Okay, so take advantage of that. It's a huge savings, especially when you're using your own money to start up your own business and there's not enough money coming in to pay the bills. So that's a huge benefit for you. If you're part of, well, actually, just IVMF also offers other programs aside from the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans. One of them is VWISE, the Veteran Women Igniting the Spirit of Entrepreneurship. That one's a 3-day conference, and that one is specifically just for women veteran entrepreneurs as well as military spouses. So that's another program. If you feel like you want to continue your professional development, that's something that you can look into for later. There's also Boots to Business, and I know they've changed that program around, but if you are looking to develop your business plan or to research other topics like marketing and everything else that goes along with running a business, those are options for you as well. That one is completely free. The one for VWise, which is a 3-day conference, is there's a small registration fee. I want to say it's like $75, and then you pay for your own travel. But your hotel, your meals, most of those are covered. We have about 4 more minutes before we switch over. Are there any other questions or anything else I can talk about? Okay, who else is with us on the on YouTube? Okay. If I don't get a chance to talk to you before the course ends, I just want to let everyone know that it's been a pleasure working with each of you. This is the first class I've had that has not had problems with the technology, has been really diligent about getting assignments in on time and doing a really nice job with putting a lot of thought and research into the assignment. So it says a lot about each of you. It's going to be a great class with a lot of high achievers. There's one more question in the chat room. Let me look. The business owner profile questions are from page 16 to the end of the workbook. It should be a whole separate document. Yeah, I think the questions are from 16 to the end of the workbook. I haven't looked at that in a while, but it is a very extensive workbook. And if you don't have some of the issues, related to your health that might hinder, your ability to work, then you can just skip over those really quickly. And some of the questions, I think you can copy and paste from your assignments. Okay, good. All right, last call. We have about 2 minutes. Any other questions, comments, or concerns before we switch over? Let me go ahead and put the link to Zoom. Okay, so everyone's going to dial into the telephone conference line, but I am going to share my screen, so you'll be able to see it using this link here on Zoom, okay? Especially if we need to map anything out for your homework assignments, or if I have to show you some resources, so it makes the homework a little bit more clear. All right, and I hope you are all getting a chance to get to know one another in the discussion forums before you hit the ground running at Syracuse. There's a lot of you who have overlapping industries, which means you have some synergies, okay? So Chris, specifically for you, I'm thinking of Jesus because of what he does with mental health training. He's also in law enforcement, and maybe even, hold on one second. There's one more person who I thought would be a good fit for you, but I would definitely reach out to Jesus because I can see a partnership there, or just a collaboration. You don't have to be partners, okay? It's good for you both to bounce ideas off of each other. So with your technology and his consulting business, it would really be a holistic approach to School Safe, where he can provide that kind of specialized training on identifying active shooters, providing that the critical stress debriefings after an event like that. I think that would offer a lot of value to both of your audiences. Okay. And Kelly, you have a travel agent in your class and a photographer. I don't know. I can just see some connections there. Okay. What else can I answer? We're almost done. All right. Good job, everyone. I'm really proud of the work that you've all done. And hopefully I'll get to meet some of you someday. Please feel free to stay in touch. And for those of you who are going to join us on the conference line, I'm going to go ahead and hang up now, and I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, take care.